I love people that just want to do what the government tells them to do and be like, well, Donald Trump's my favorite politician.
A new study is out showing that the city of Los Angeles, well, it's lost a little bit of its luster. Laz, break it down.
More than a little bit, according to this report. If you feel that downtown LA is not a very cool place to hang out, well, apparently you're not alone.
But LA's always had a problem, man. Downtown LA has always been a ghost town. When I was a kid, LA, like there's some cool parts of downtown LA. Sometimes when you go downtown, you're like, man, I would love to live in downtown LA, but it's not like a walkable downtown. It's like it's ghost town on the weekends. It's kind of rough. Like it's clean unless you're in Skid Row, but like downtown it's never been great in LA, not since I was a kid.
Report out this week finds that downtown LA is one of the deadest downtowns in the world.
Yeah, that's it. It has to be one of the deadest downtown. I think that's always the way it is, and LA's always been that way. It's funny because I always thought LA would have been so. Every once in a while, there's like a downtown renaissance. They open a bunch of cafes and art galleries, and it seems really cool. But they never have like you need a theater district. You need like a Broadway. You need something that's like a real. We have a Broadway, but we don't have like a real Broadway like they do in New York, right? Like we need something that brings the bees to the honey pot, you know. And usually when you have a big theater, restaurants and stuff open up because people want to eat dinner before they go to the theater. They make a night of it. So all these other little businesses open up because of it. You need the arts, but like downtown LA, it's expensive to live there. The arts are like, there's some cool galleries. There's I remember I did a poetry reading at the Stench, I think it was called. It's a punk venue. There's a couple punk venues. There's some cool stuff down there. It's not completely dead, but I get it. Like for LA, this giant city, for our downtown to be like LA. I'm from LA and I've been going downtown for most of my life, and it's just not that cool.
If you know downtown LA pretty well, you might say, okay,
the
what's
stink.
the news there? All right, let's get into that.
Yes, the stink. Have you been there, Veg in the Woods? Did we talk about this before? Yeah, the stink. I did a poetry reading at the stink. What they call art in LA is graffiti. Not downtown. You don't really see that much of it downtown. Yeah. Most of downtown is depressing concrete bunkers and stuff. Yeah. But those bunkers could be turned into cool lofts. They could be turned into cool artists, like warehouse. The warehouse space, we have it in downtown LA, but it's just like no one ever bothered to convert it. When you go to other downtowns, even places that aren't downtown, like the Bronx and Brooklyn, they have spaces like that have been converted, and LA just never has. It also has to do with like LA doesn't have a streetcar system. LA just has those buses that are like not as cool, you know, just like downtown LA just doesn't have that cool factor, man. Hollywood's cool, but it's like, ugh. LA is I love LA. I love Melrose. I love I don't know. There's some cool spots in LA, but it's not great.
About 2/3 of respondents to the Gensler City Pulse survey.
They don't make money, but they don't make money, but they could bring residents. If you convert those places, you can bring residents, and the arts don't bring money, but they bring other businesses come. So like I've done so many studies because I used to work for the American Shakespeare Center, and I was their marketing. I was part of their marketing department. I was like 50% of the marketing department, and we ran the Playhouse and stuff. And there's all sorts of studies that show that if you have an anchor, like a big arts project, then it brings other stuff. Like Disney Hall brought a bunch of other restaurants and want to be around Disney Hall because when people come to the opera or come to a big show at Disney Hall in LA, they want to have dinner before, they want to go shopping, they want to make a day of it. But we have things like City Walk at Universal Studios and stuff that kind of fill that void, or Disney, the Disney downtown Disney and stuff. So California has that type of shit. LA, I know downtown Disney isn't in LA, but it's close enough. And so people go to that shit. People just drive to where they want to go. So downtown's always been kind of dead. You could do it though. If a major renovation could really happen, you'd have to put a lot of money in though.
describe downtown LA as vibrant, but that compares with 80% vibrancy scores for the likes of New York and Chicago. Gensler, an urban planning consulting firm, says,
I mean, look, I mean, it's just a big look at, I mean, downtown's pretty nuts.
downtown LA is 11th lowest in the US for being, cool, and 20th lowest worldwide, well below the likes of Sydney and Shanghai. Kelly Farrell, managing director of Gensler's LA office, told the LA Times that the city's downtown has, become more downtrodden because businesses have moved elsewhere. And
That beautiful pool in that hotel, huh? JW Marriott. Crypto.com.
that's led to an exodus of workers and residents, which in turn has wiped out many.
See, there's the Peacock Theater. I mean, they've got stuff, but it's just like, I don't know. There's never able to make it work in LA. There's just too many problems.
Restaurants and shops. And as a former downtown denizen myself, from when the LA Times was there,
And look, you know what you also see in LA? Where's the green? There's no green. There's no shade unless you're under one of those buildings. There's no shade. Look at even those little tiny little trees on the street. It's just shit, man. And there used to be a river. There used to be. They could have put the river, like daylight the river. That'd be cool. There's plans to daylight the river and shit. It could happen.
Too has left downtown LA. I can attest that the area is just not so fun. Of course, there are pockets of fun and some pretty cool stuff that can be found down there, but generally speaking, it's not New York. It's not Chicago. What can we do? Well, needless to say, I've thought about this, and I've come up with a suggestion.
The other thing about New York and Chicago, though, is that they were invented before, like New York, Chicago came around before cars. Everything was kind of denser and everyone could walk to where they needed to go. Like that culture just isn't so. LA is about cars. They ripped out our subways, our streetcar system, and now we just have cars. I mean, I always lamented the fact that I wasn't alive during the streetcar. Like LA at one point had more streetcar track than any other city in the world. They had the biggest streetcar system in the world, bigger than Paris, bigger than New York.
Although it's not an easy suggestion. My solution to this is aggressive rent control. Stop. Hey, let me finish. This would be the way that you lure back the young and hip into the downtown area. And after they arrive, presumably the businesses will all come back to cater to them. And these would be the cooler businesses, restaurants, boutiques, things like that. Would it work? Well, demographically speaking, yeah, studies have shown that's one way to do it. Would landlords and developers get behind this? Not a chance.
No. Got to clean it up.
Well, the cleanup for sure. But
Yeah.
See, dumb bitch. We got to clean it up. No, everyone just dismissed it. Clean up for sure, but like, look, cleaning up. More cops? Yeah, nobody wants to live like that. No one wants to live in a place that's like, gotta clean it up, crack some skulls. If you're in the street, you gotta crack some skulls. No one wants to live like that.
Downtown LA used to rely so heavily on foot traffic. I was reading the LA Business Journal recently that vacancies in office spaces are approaching something like 40%.
Right.
And so the people just aren't there.
Right.
And so there are discussions about turning those.
That's the other thing. In the week, downtown LA used to be hustle and bustle, all crazy, everybody. And then the weekend, just ghosts, just nothing. You walk down the middle of the street, no one would bother you.
Office spaces into residential housing, commercial spaces into more residential housing. But how do you get the people back there first?
I think one of the problems with downtown LA is it's got multiple personalities. You've got the financial community on Bunker Hill, but there's really not much going on
Yeah, the financial district, there's nothing there.
there. You got the razzle dazzle of crypto.com arena, but it doesn't get much farther than the things that are there. Broadway, man, that's just faded glory there. And then you got Skid Row. You put it all together, it's a hard thing to market. It's a hard thing to characterize. Bringing young people back into that area, then you can start getting shopping streets.
I mean, Skid Row is just
Shopping streets are the key to an urban city center.
shopping streets. Those shopping streets are at downtown Disney, where you have to get frisked before you go in, go through a metal detector. Same thing with City Walk. City Walk doesn't have the metal detectors, but it's still like very controlled environment. Parking is handled. You have all of these places you can go for shopping and spending the day. Go to Universal Studios, go to Disneyland if you want, that type of thing. I don't know. You hadn't heard about the streetcars in Roger Rabbit. Yeah, and in Roger Rabbit, they had the streetcars, and he's like, why would you want to build freeways? It's a joke, because that's exactly what they did. In fact, I think it was GM, Standard Oil, and Goodyear, maybe, or Firestone. I think Firestone, maybe. These companies got together and they wanted to sell buses because of oil, gas, and tires. And they conspired, and they bought all of the track and they tore it all out in order to sell more buses. And it wasn't just here, it was all over America. They did it all, and they were caught and they were convicted, and they got a little slap on the wrist that was like the fine was like a price of one bus or something like that. It was ridiculous. But it was definitely a they got caught in conspiracy. It's a true, real conspiracy where they got caught and convicted. Nothing happened. There were towns all over America. I've lived in Stanton, Virginia. They used to have streetcars going down, up and down, electric cars connecting everything, and now they're all gone. They just tore them all out to sell buses all over America instead.